Let me tell you about a guy I know. Let's call him Mark. Mark is the textbook definition of a good man. He remembered every anniversary, every birthday, every random mention of her favorite candy. He worked hard, paid the bills, planned the dates, and never once raised his voice. He sacrificed his sleep, his hobbies, and his own social life just to make sure his woman was happy. And last month, she left him. Not for someone richer, not for someone better looking. She left him for a guy who doesn't do half of what Mark did. And Mark is sitting there, completely broken, asking the question that millions of men ask every single day. I did everything for her. Why wasn't that enough? Here's the truth most men are not ready to hear. Women don't care how much you sacrifice. They don't care how much you give. And they definitely don't stay loyal just because you treated them well. That's not how female loyalty works. In fact, the more a man tries to earn loyalty by doing things for a woman, the faster he usually loses it. Tonight, I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because women are loyal, just not to what most men think. Stay with me, because once you understand this one concept, relationships will never confuse you again. Let's start by tearing down the biggest lie we've all been taught since we were kids. Society tells men, be nice, be supportive, do more, give more, pay for dinner, listen to her problems, fix her car, buy the flowers, and she'll stay. So men invest. They pour in time, energy, attention, money, and emotional labor. And for a while, it seems to work. She appreciates it. She smiles. She says thank you. She enjoys the comfort you provide. But here is the first psychological truth you need to write down. Appreciation is not loyalty, and comfort is not desire. You can give a woman absolutely everything she asks for. You can be a rock, a provider, a best friend. But if the emotional experience of being around you fades, her attachment fades right along with it. Have you ever noticed that some men do the bare minimum? Maybe they aren't even that great of a partner on paper, yet their women stay completely obsessed with them. Meanwhile, other men do absolutely everything, bend over backwards, and still get replaced for a guy who treats her like an afterthought. That's not luck. That's not because women are crazy. That's psychology. Women don't attach to your effort. They attach to their emotional experience. How they feel around you matters more than anything you could ever possibly do for them. So what is the one thing women are actually loyal to? Here is the core truth. Women are loyal to how a man makes them feel about themselves. Read that again. They are not loyal to your effort. They are not loyal to your consistency. They are not loyal to your track record of good deeds. Their loyalty is emotional, not logical. Most men lose their power because they think loyalty is earned like a paycheck. They think if I put in 8 hours of good boyfriend behavior, I get a deposit of loyalty. But female psychology doesn't work like a bank account. The moment a man starts overgiving to secure a woman's loyalty, he is signaling something incredibly dangerous: fear of loss. And fear kills attraction faster than anything else on earth. Think about it. When you are constantly trying to prove your worth to a woman, what are you actually communicating underneath all the nice gestures? You're saying, I don't believe I'm already worthy of you. You're saying, I need to compensate because I'm afraid you'll leave if I stop performing. And women feel this. They feel it in their bones. They sense that desperation, even when it's wrapped in a bouquet of roses and a fancy dinner. A woman doesn't want to be the center of your universe because she's terrified that if she steps out of line, your entire universe will collapse. She wants to be a part of a universe that you are already running. Now, let's go a level deeper, because there's a second layer to this. Women are loyal to emotional safety. But listen carefully. Emotional safety does not mean comfort. It does not mean predictability. It does not mean you never disagree. Emotional safety means confidence. It means emotional control. It means stability under pressure and strength without aggression. When a man stays calm when things get tense, when the car breaks down, when money gets tight, when she's having a meltdown, he automatically becomes the most valuable person in her life. Why? Because he regulates the emotional environment. Women are loyal to the man who controls the emotional gravity in the room. If you are easily rattled, if a minor argument makes you defensive, if her bad mood instantly ruins your mood, then she doesn't feel safe. She feels like she has to manage your emotions on top of her own, and that feeling is exhausting. I've seen it happen countless times. A man who was once confident, strong, and grounded gradually becomes insecure as the relationship goes on. He starts asking, "Are we okay?" after every minor disagreement. He needs constant reassurance. He apologizes for things that don't require apologies. He walks on eggshells. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, she begins to disconnect. Not because she's cruel, not because she's ungrateful for everything he's done, but because the emotional experience of being with him has fundamentally changed. She didn't lose loyalty for what he did. She lost loyalty for what he became. Now, here comes the part that shocks most men: the power of identity. Women are loyal to identity, not personality, not kindness, not effort, identity. Who you are matters infinitely more than what you do. If your identity is strong,
If you know who you are, what you stand for, where you are going, and what you will and will not tolerate, your actions matter less. You can make mistakes. You can forget an anniversary. You can be a little rough around the edges, but she will stay loyal to the core of who you are. On the flip side, if your identity is weak, no amount of actions can save you. You can buy her the world, and it won't matter. This is why women stay loyal to men who are willing to walk away when disrespected. It's why they stay loyal to men who don't beg, who don't overinvest, and who don't collapse emotionally when things go wrong. Those behaviors signal high internal value, and loyalty flows upward toward strength, never downward toward weakness. This is a hard pill to swallow. We all want to believe that goodness alone is enough, that simply treating someone well automatically creates an unbreakable bond. But human psychology is far more complex than that. Respect isn't created by what you give someone. Respect is created by how you value yourself.
Let's talk about the difference between obligation and loyalty. This is a distinction that will change your life. A woman can feel obligated to you. She can feel grateful to you. She can feel completely comfortable with you. And she can still not be truly loyal. Why? Because loyalty requires respect. And respect does not come from giving. It comes from self-control. When a woman stays out of obligation, she is mentally keeping score. She's tallying up everything you've done for her. She's weighing her guilt against her unhappiness. She's thinking, he's done so much for me, I shouldn't leave. That's not loyalty. That's a prison. But when a woman is truly loyal, there is no scoreboard. There is no guilt. She stays because something deeper is at play. She stays because of who you are, not what you've provided. Obligation feels like debt. Loyalty feels like devotion. Which one do you think she feels when you constantly remind her of everything you've done for her? Or worse, when you use your sacrifices to manipulate her into staying? You might win her time, but you've lost her heart. Let's talk about the momentum principle. Women are loyal to momentum. When a man is moving forward in life, building something, learning, growing, pushing his limits, she feels pulled into his frame. She wants to be a part of his journey. She roots for him. She invests in him. But the moment he stops growing, she starts emotionally detaching. It doesn't matter how great he was in the past. It doesn't matter that he built a great life 5 years ago. Female attraction is intensely present-focused. Who you are now matters more than who you were. This is why stagnation kills more relationships than arguments, distance, or even infidelity. Stagnation. When a man loses his direction, she loses his emotional alignment. The spark doesn't die because of what he did wrong. It dies because he stopped doing anything at all. Think about the relationships you've seen fall apart. How many of them ended because the man just got comfortable? He stopped pursuing his goals. He stopped challenging himself. He let his physical health slide. He stopped reading, stopped growing, stopped dreaming. He traded his ambition for a recliner and a remote control. And suddenly, the woman who once looked at him with pure admiration began looking at him with nothing. He became invisible, not because he was a bad man, but because he stopped becoming a great one. Now, listen very carefully to this next part. How a man handles loss matters most. Women are loyal to how a man handles adversity. When things go wrong, when conflict appears, when emotions rise, when she pulls away, does he remain grounded or does he fall apart? A man who can experience loss without losing himself becomes irreplaceable, because emotional mastery is the rarest trait on the planet. Most men collapse the moment they face the potential loss of a woman. They panic. They become reactive. They send a wall of text at 2 a.m. They try to control the situation through force, begging, or desperation. But the man who can face loss with dignity, the man who can look her in the eye and say, "I care about you deeply, but I will not beg you to stay," that man becomes unforgettable. Here's something subtle but incredibly powerful. Women don't test men consciously. They test them emotionally. They pull away slightly. They become colder. They create distance. Not because they want to leave, but to see who you are without their reassurance. They are testing your center of gravity. And how you respond to that test determines everything. If you chase, you fail. If you over-explain, you fail. If you panic, you fail. But if you remain centered, detached yet present, her loyalty deepens, because you just proved that your emotional foundation isn't dependent on her mood. You proved that you are a rock, not a leaf blowing in the wind of her emotions. Now let's talk about what women are not loyal to. They are not loyal to over-availability. They are not loyal to emotional dependency. They are not loyal to people-pleasing. They are not loyal to self-sacrifice without boundaries. Those behaviors feel safe to a man, so he assumes they make the woman feel safe too. But safety without attraction creates indifference, and indifference is the beginning of the end.
This is exactly where good men lose good women. They think being always available shows love. They think having no other interests shows commitment. They think agreeing with everything she says shows compatibility. But what it actually shows is a lack of self. And you cannot be loyal to someone who has no self, because there is nothing to be loyal to. You can't anchor a ship to a puddle. Here is the biggest mistake men make in relationships. They confuse love with loyalty. Love is emotional. Loyalty is respect-based. A woman can love a man with all her heart and still leave him. It happens every single day. But she will struggle immensely to leave a man she deeply respects. Love fluctuates. It rises and falls with circumstances, hormones, and daily experiences. But respect is structural. It's the foundation of the house. A woman might stop feeling that in-love spark temporarily. But if the respect remains, so does she. She will weather the storm with you. She will fight for the relationship. But if the respect is gone, no amount of love can hold her there. So what are women truly loyal to? They are loyal to emotional strength, to self-respect, to direction, to identity, to how they feel in a man's presence. This is why silence sometimes works better than 1,000 words. It's why walking away creates more impact than chasing. It's why emotional restraint beats emotional explosion every single time. Because restraint signals power, and power attracts loyalty. Let me be clear, this isn't about being cold, manipulative, or uncaring. It's about self-containment. A man who doesn't leak his value forces others to feel it. Real strength isn't aggression. It isn't domination. It isn't punishing her with the silent treatment. Real strength is knowing your value so deeply that you don't need constant validation from her. It's being able to love someone completely without needing them to complete you. It's having the courage to walk away from disrespect, even when it breaks your heart to do it. When you stop trying to earn loyalty and start embodying value, everything shifts. She listens more. She respects more. She feels more. And loyalty becomes a natural byproduct, not a forced obligation. If you've ever wondered why being too good backfired, if you've ever wondered why giving more didn't fix the problem, if you've ever wondered why she pulled away without warning, now you know. It was never about your effort. It was about who you were becoming, or more accurately, who you stopped becoming. The man who continually evolves, who faces challenges head-on, who develops his mind, his body, and his purpose, that man remains attractive. The man who plateaus, who becomes predictable, who stops pursuing excellence, that man becomes invisible, even if he's kind, even if he's loyal, even if he does everything right on paper. Female loyalty isn't about fairness. It's not about justice. It's not about who deserves what. It's about primal psychology that exists beneath conscious awareness. You can fight against it, you can call it unfair, you can wish it were different, or you can understand it, master it, and use that understanding to build a relationship that actually lasts. The choice is yours, but pretending reality is different than it is won't change anything. It'll just leave you confused when your best efforts aren't enough. Women are loyal to strength, not sacrifice, to presence, not performance, to who you are, not what you do. Master this, and loyalty becomes effortless. Ignore it, and you'll spend your life wondering why your best wasn't enough. If this video gave you clarity, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a deep dive like this again. And if you want to know what happens when a woman actually tests your strength, and exactly how to pass that test without saying a word, check out the video on your screen right now. It's the missing piece to everything we just talked about. The world won't teach you this stuff, but you need to know it anyway. I'll see you in the next one.